Facebook world. This is Kimberly and Connor Tracy here at Big Red SEO. We are here. We're live. We're live. All the family, friends, and followers that reached out to us whenever they did not see us on Facebook for a bit. Thank you so much for reaching out. I gotta be honest, we kind of took a break. We needed a break. I don't think that there was one thing specifically. We just needed to reset and recalibrate, and kind of really dive into projects and where are we and how do we want to end the year and how do we want to begin the next year, right? And it was quite nice to not have to worry about a deadline of a Friday afternoon live video. I know our fans and followers and family don't like to hear that, right? But we've always been transparent with you guys, and we shared right from the very beginning that there's a lot that goes into this. So while you might capture us, whether it's 10 minutes, I think is the shortest Facebook Live we've ever had, maybe, or an hour and a half Facebook Live, there's work that has to happen in order for us to do that. And be prepared with it. So we just wanted to say we missed you guys. We thought about you guys consistently. Connor would look at me and be like, "Hey, so we doing a Facebook Live this Friday?" And I'm like, right. Yeah, but we might. Let's see how it feels. And then it would be like Friday, 2 p.m., 2:30. And you almost...
Hang on 1 second. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Cameras. You know what? You take a break and you just forget everything. Forget how to use the software. Forget everything else. Anyways, go ahead. Wherever you were. Where were you?
So, Casey, thanks for tuning in and joining us. So, Connor, how about you start with some of the newest lives and edits while I go and invite some people. Okay. If you want on our invite list, let us know. If you want to do it yourself, you can just follow our page and then you get notifications of when we go live. But let me go plug in here and invite some of our entrepreneur friends and family. So there's there's a handful of big things that have happened online. But one of the big ones, if you have YouTube, so if you have YouTube, go to YouTube, do a search for Trillions of Questions, No Easy Answers. It's about a 1 hour video. It's actually produced by Google, and it's all how search works. You know, who started it, why they did it the way they did, how the whole everything works. We had some last year. We had the quality raters guidelines updated, and that allows us to see just how Google ranks and rates things. And that's something they talk about in the movie also. So the movie was just released, I think 2 weeks ago, and I said like 1.3 million views already, probably by mostly SEOs. But if you get a chance and want to understand just how Google operates, how their whole thing works, why their data centers are the way they are, it's a fascinating look behind the curtain. I did have my chance there last year to go to the Google campus and meet and talk with some of the engineers, and it was kind of cool to see them all in this movie explaining the different parts, some of the stuff that we had talked about. So if you get a chance, go check that out. Again, it was Trillions of Questions, No Easy Answers. Fascinating stuff, at least to me it was. So, side note, I totally listened to what you're saying, but there's no. I was listening the whole time. But while we were gone, Facebook changed all their invite things, so you can't necessarily invite, or I'm not finding a way to create a party and invite your people in your party. So This is quite interesting as well. Tom, thanks for tuning in. It's super fascinating. So if you're here, great. We love that you watched it. If you have to retune it and you say, "Damn it, I missed the show," it's because I can't invite you. So I was thinking about you. I was considering you. I actually went for action to it. However, the shit's different. So that's the easiest way to say it.
Two things with Facebook that has moved. Well, Facebook
I literally, my mind's blown right now. I'm like, where's my invite button? Who moved my cheese?
Well, Facebook and Instagram, moving forward, they removed the ability
to set locations. So where you're targeting or where your location is at. So they're looking to remove that kind of information, which is kind of weird that they would do that on the Instagram level because, that's kind of the whole thing. Where was this picture taken? But there's a couple of things that's happening there on their end. But yeah, Google themselves, they've made tons of updates.
Yeah.
We've been gone, a month now? Just about?
I bet my mind's... Casey's probably laughing at us right now. She's like, I'm a creative. I know what you mean. So Tom, so good to see you here. Hopefully life's treating you really well. Tom and I go way, way, way back in the days. So, when I moved to Omaha, I was selling a specific software. It happened to be a CAD software, which is so fascinating in life. I know it's a total different tangent of updates, but it's so fascinating in life. At least for me, I like to go in depth and inner and look at things. But I have actually met a lot of our existing clients. They're in the same circle as what my software world was. However, they no longer worked for those companies or maybe they worked with the farmers and I happened to have a client that was a farmer manufacturer, right? And it's super fascinating to tap into that and be like, oh, so we were potentially in the same building at the same time, but we didn't know each other at the time because we were in two different roles, right? And then to be able to circle around and come back, and whether they're starting their own gig and we're doing website design or helping them in marketing in their existing company or so forth, it's really cool to see how all that stuff circles back around and how you utilize it. I'm a huge believer that every opportunity that we have, whether it's this business or previous careers, it's a stepping stone into something else. And if you can keep that bridge going, then that's super cool. But I spent some time with Tom. It's been a long time ago. Hopefully you and the family are doing well. Casey, let us know how you're doing and let us know how business is going. I've actually been watching her. She's been creating a lot of different stuff, right? And that's super cool to see somebody in their creative element and continuing to do that. I think more now than ever, we need creativity. We need to just create and let that expression come and release, right? Boots on the ground, hands dived in. What is it that you're here for? What are you doing? And actually doing that. And I'd say that probably rolls us into kind of the check-in, right? So for us, our hands have been into it. We've been in the thick of projects, amazing, super creative projects, other projects that are just really custom and in depth, right? But it all ties into the vision in each company, in each organization, in each person, wanting to make sure that whatever is put forward in their vision, it actually articulates exactly who they are and what they stand for, as well as what they're wanting for now, as well as into the future. So it's a lot more in-depth conversations. It's a lot more in-depth questions of what functionality do you need to make your job a little easier? How do you need it automated? Have you considered doing A, B, and C? Have you tested this element? What worked? What didn't work? And that's not just in website design. It's also in the SEO, right? So it's it kind of combines together. And then we wind up sitting with people for a long time trying to figure out, okay, so if you got hit by something, what ways can you recover with that? Or how can you adapt and continue to get your business going? And a lot of mindset work as well. Now is a time, as you guys know, we're in the thick of a lot of different stuff. And so it's easy to kind of get distracted and or kind of maybe feel a little defeated or hopeless, right? And our mission has always been to kind of infuse and give some inspiration and just let people know, hey, we're here. We're in your corner. So we do appreciate you guys and your patience of letting us take a pause so we can take care of the ones that we have in person as well as virtual. That's something else that's new, a lot more virtual meetings. And we actually have switched some of the virtual meetings back to phone call, and that actually works quite well as well. Sometimes I think video can be overkill based on whatever the conversation needs to be.
When the whole stuff all started, all the pandemic stuff and all the way through the summer and whatnot, and everybody was just pushing video and do Zoom and do Google and Skype and whatever else. But, not everything needs to be a video call. And I think it took a long time for businesses to understand, and there's still quite a few of them that don't understand that you don't have to be on video all the time. It's perfectly fine to just chat on the phone or, Send an email.
Well, we had one like this. Like, guys, in all the years I've done this, right? I love the 4 Agreements. So if you ever come across that book, it's one of my favorites. It's like my Bible. I try not to make a lot of assumptions, but we actually had it. I'm going to recall your brain.
Oh, good luck.
We had a prospect call with a local company, and it's a big company, right? Not that its size matters, right? I mean, some people it does. For me, I'm like, a company is a company. Cool, let's sit down. I'm going to treat you, whether you're a $1 billion company or you have $5 in the bank, I'm going to treat you the same, right? But anyway, so we get on the call for this prospect company, and they want to work with a small company that's local, which kudos, like that's kind of our language, right? But we're willing to work with anybody as long as our values are aligned. And it got to the conversation of, when you sent the Zoom link, we almost considered not going forward because those that are in corporate use Zoom. And I just sat there like, I never considered like people that would do video would think that those people are corporate versus not corporate, or big versus not big, or because you're in the thick of a lot of people are using Zoom and a lot of people are using video. So whether it's Zoom or whether it's WhatsApp or Facebook Live or whatnot. And I had to like sit there. You actually took over the phone call because I was on video, ironically Zoom. And a lot of times I'm good at like holding my composure, but that one threw me. I was like, where did this come from? Like, people actually consider Zoom a big corporation.
It's a business tool, right? And I think from her end, it was that, she didn't necessarily want to work with a business. She wanted to work with individuals.
Yeah.
And of course, we give off the individual presence on our website, which is bigredseo.com. And you should go and like the page and all that fun stuff. But no, we give off that the presence that we're a small company, we're individuals, because we're 2 people. This is it. But yeah, once you got the Zoom link and said, that it felt corporate or something like that, whatever way it was. And it wasn't about the email. It wasn't the message in the email. It was just the fact that we were going to use Zoom.
Well, and we didn't know until we were on the phone, right? Mm-hmm. So we actually made it past. So that's good, right? Communications made it past. Bailey's is all excited about the wires now. Right here. So if we go down, guys, it's all her fault. She was so upset that we didn't have a seat for her. So we're going to have to figure out something for the video for the seat. We gave her a chair in the corner, but she's just like, this isn't enough.
Doesn't want to do
this. Isn't enough. Okay, so a couple things I want you guys to consider. There's been a lot of Black Friday specials, actually, that wound up happening sooner and newer. So if you do have a WooCommerce shopping cart site, I would say it's better to get the ball rolling if you have not yet now in communications and what type of packages, promo, information are you going to offer your fans and followers. Mm-hmm. Do that now versus waiting. And we had this conversation of if we were to give somebody an idea or a tip, right? That hopefully you will be able to increase your sales yourself. However, we always look into the back of, okay, what can you set up so you can actually capture something? So then maybe you can finesse it over the next year to 2 years and so forth. So if you hopefully you have Google Analytics installed, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's installed in your site.
Or the new Bing Analytics, which is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. Are you going to do a video about that soon? Yeah.
Maybe do a video on that.
Get them back into the video muscle. Yeah. So with that, like, make sure you have your Google Analytics installed and look at the reports. Try not to get too overwhelmed and in the weeds on the reports. You have tons of videos and articles out there on what to look for in the Google Analytics. But the key area that you want to do with your Google Analytics in your Google Webmaster, is get your heat map installed.
Which is not part of Google Analytics, but it's something that should be done.
Yeah. So isn't it the Webmaster, Google Webmaster?
No, there's a couple of third parties. Hotjar does it. Crazy Egg does it.
I thought it was all connected in. Maybe it's because he does all the work, guys. So it falls into his tree. But either way, and maybe you could do a sidekick video on it, mm-hmm. But it's important to get the heat map installed. So what this does is, if you could just virtually abstract see this, when somebody's on a website, they typically put their mouse wherever they're journeying, right? So like Some people will naturally just go to the scroll and scroll up and scroll down, and they just scan the whole page and they don't touch anything. Other people we're naturally feelers. So we'll take the mouse and we'll feel around the site of what are we looking at? What are we seeing? Some people, whenever they actually read, they'll highlight the text that they read, right? So the heat map can actually capture this information and this data, and you can watch the recording of what people are doing and how they're doing it. I know this dog is like, I need a side video of this dog. She's like doing a dance on the floor. But you want to actually capture what they're doing and how they're doing it, or where they're going, or where are they putting their mouse at. And then really important, you want to make sure you also pay attention to where are they scrolling really quick away. So if somebody scrolls quickly away from something, it's a complete turnoff. They're not interested. They don't want it.
And the other, with different heat maps, you can actually measure the click. So if they're clicking on an image and that image isn't linked to anything, maybe it should be linked if you've got enough people clicking on certain things. So those are definitely the heat maps. You can do some stuff inside of Google Analytics with user flow or behavior flows, seeing what page they go to. But having a heat map and visually being able to see what it is they're doing, it records their entire session.
Yeah.
And you can play it back at 1 times speed, 8 times speed, whatever you want to do. So that you make sure that everything is in the right spots.
And in the heat map too, you can also figure out what pages they're going into and what do they like, what products do they like. So maybe they don't purchase now because it's not in their budget, or they add it to their cart, not add it to the cart. So that taps into another functionality that Conor absolutely loves, which is the abandoned cart. And so it's I think it's one of those things that people don't know about, or they forget about, or they just kind of like set it, forget it, and then we're like, okay, why is the sales not here? What is it? But remember, your website is like a living, breathing being. Like, it's going to continuously grow, and it's going to, you need to contribute to it, look at it, figure out what people like about it, what they don't like about it. Definitely stay within your realm of what's kosher and what's not. We're not asking you to step out and not be yourself, right? However, you might find that maybe your clientele doesn't like a whole lot of content. And if your goal is to grow in the search engines with SEO, that's kind of a pickle predicament. You got to make sure that you align the content just right so they don't get super overwhelmed. But then at the same time, you're offering all the materials that they need in order to make an executive decision and allow the search engines to know how to rank you.
Mm-hmm. And these are the things that if you look at Amazon, and I keep pointing back to Amazon, the way they've done things, but everybody's logged in when they go to Amazon.
Yeah.
And then you get your reminders that, hey, you haven't checked out, or hey, this was in your wish list.
I get those a lot.
Or this particular item is now on sale at a cheaper rate, and you should now buy it. So those are all things that Amazon has implemented that you can implement on your own website also. Almost all the shopping carts that I've dealt with have that functionality.
Yeah.
WooCommerce has it. It's WooCommerce has their own version, but I use a third-party one that basically just does the whole system.
Yeah.
And the moment you add something to the cart, it asks for an email.
Yeah.
And that's to allow that.
And that's an ideal situation. If you can get it set up to when they add to the cart that it actually asks for an email, you can actually create your lead generation, right? Not all systems do that. Like we always say, WordPress, WooCommerce, or one of the other shopping carts built in that. Other ones are in site builders, which, you got to do what you got to do for your business, right? We primarily play only in WordPress, as well as on the SEO side. But lead generation is another area and aspect. So your newsletters, like I would not recommend, we actually had this conversation about people that are sending multiple newsletters every single week, again and again and again. I would make sure that whatever newsletter that you're sending is of intention, and make sure that you're not overwhelming your fans and followers, because if so, like, they might just put it into the trash and never open it, right? They might not unfollow and unsubscribe. Sometimes they will.
Right.
But sometimes what happens is it can kind of create a bit of a pickle if you unsubscribe, and then does that person like me? Do they not like me? And so what they do is they just put you into spam, and you go into spam. So the downfall is if your newsletter goes into too many spams by manual they manually put you into the box, you can actually get flagged as spam for your business and your company email. Right. So something to really consider on the frequency of the newsletters. I will say that my inbox for promotions and newsletters has like gone through the roof, and it's mainly because of holidays, right? So like a lot of people are realizing people are not going to go to the stores as much. They're going to shop online. They're going to want things shipped to them, free shipping, not free shipping, buy one, get one free, not buy one, get one free. That's another trend I'm seeing. As well as give your email and then you get a discount. And this is different than sometimes they would say sign up for our newsletter and get a discount. There's some businesses that'll let you actually put your email in multiple times to get the specific discount code. So I think that they're creating like lead lists, if that makes sense, of who's capturing what information.
You know, point over there, that box over there, which is my
so the one that Bailey's looking at right now?
Yeah, the one that Bailey's looking at.
She's looking hard at it.
I was online and I found a putting mat that I wanted for my golf stuff. So anyway, I purchased from them and I got added into their list. And every single day I get buy this, and I get, buy this sleeve of golf balls, or buy this and get this. And it's every single day. And, I only purchased the thing, I don't know, maybe a month ago, but I've just been so bombarded.
I think it's like been less than 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So if you're getting that much, that's a lot.
Yeah, I had to put everything into spam. I don't want to not get the message, because when I get bored, I might want to go look at the different things. But at the same time, I don't need a reminder every single day.
Yeah.
And so anyways, that's what's going on that end.
So a couple of things for you guys. Just want to give you a quick update. So next Friday, we're actually going to dive into 5 design tips that we recommend for the holidays. So we realize like Thanksgiving's coming down the pipeline, but we actually want to give you some tips and recommendations for whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, or Valentine's Day, right? So make sure you tune into that. Again, Facebook doesn't allow me to invite people. So if you want to be invited, put a comment and I'll see if I can get you an email message or so forth.
You're going to have to learn how to figure that out.
Oh my gosh. Another thing. Okay, so we have that. And then the next following weekend, we're actually going to focus on audits. So if you want us to look at your website, send us a private message. We'll for sure add you into the queue. But we're going to kind of do some recommendations on audits of what to have into the site, what not to have, what to do for content, what not to do. It's quite interesting. There's specific words that people are recommending to stay away from right now, specific languages to stay away from right now, because it's actually influencing conversion. So just keep that in mind as well. So that'll be in 2 weeks. But we're going to get back on the schedule and we'll see you next Friday at 1. Anything else you want to add? Any other updates?
Yeah, just 2 updates.
Yeah.
If you have Ultimate Member, which is a WordPress plugin, please update it. It is vulnerable to exploit. And the other one is that if you have WooCommerce installed and it's not at least version 4.1, please update it. The older versions, they're going to become incompatible with some different plugins. And the new version of WordPress that comes out here December 3rd is going to break some of those old plugins if you don't have WooCommerce updated. So please get that on your list. If you need help doing that, contact us. It's stuff that we do.
Yep.
But get that updated. Make a backup. Make an update.
Yeah, and just to give you a heads up, so next week, website design tips and tricks. The next following week is going to be audits. It is the weekend of Thanksgiving, so we might be a little more casual than usual.
More casual?
We'll be here, though, so who knows? We might be eating some desserts, wearing a Santa hat. I don't know what we'll be doing. Thanksgiving's not really Santa, but so if you wind up watching in your PJs, drinking cocoa or whiskey, it's completely cool and completely kosher. So just give you a heads up on that. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We'll see if we can help you, whether it's just taking a few minutes of our own time to be able to help give you some guidance, and or we have different retainer packages as well. But in the meantime, thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for allowing us the space to rest and recharge.
Yeah, Facebook stuff down below. You got Facebook, Twitter, and then YouTube. Go follow us on YouTube.
Yeah. In the meantime, guys, have a great one. We'll chat soon. See you later. Bye.
Have a good one now. Bye-bye.